multiplying polynomial expressions. So I think I'm going to go through and use the area model here on these. I've got another video that's going to cover using the FOIL method, or it kind of looks like a rainbow when you do it. So I think I'm going to do the area method here though. So I always like to take a look at the first polynomial here, polynomial expression, and I'm going to refer to that as my base. I notice that there is only one term in that base, so I'm going to have just one little chunk at the bottom to represent that, and I'm going to say the dimension of that is going to be 3x. Then I will take a look at the next one as well and determine how many terms the height is going to have. So in this case, it looks like the height is going to have a 5x and a minus 2, which means I'm going to have two little boxes for that. So I'll have one box and another box. And I'll have a 5x minus 2. And then once I have those already set up and completed, I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in like it's a full rectangle. So just go ahead and connect these. Now, to be able to find the area of these boxes, and remember that the area of a rectangle is just base times height. So to get the area of the bottom, I'm going to have this base of 3x and the height of negative 2. If I multiply those, I'm going to get negative 6x. Likewise with the one on the top, I know that a 3x times a 5x is going to give me a 15x squared. Then my answer is just going to be pulling the stuff on the inside together. So I can't really add these together because they're not like terms. So as a sum, I would say my answer is 15x squared minus 6x. And as a product, it was what the original question was. Okay, moving on to the next one, we do the exact same thing. My base here is going to have two terms. So I'm going to have two boxes going across the bottom now, or two chunks. So I'll have a 4x for one of them. And then the next chunk is going to be the second piece, which is minus 1. Likewise, then I'll do the same thing with the second part, which I'll identify as the height. And there are two terms in there as well. So I'll need a chunk for the first term and a chunk for the second term. Let's go ahead and fill those in off to the side. So I'll have a 6x plus 5. Once I have the little cut-in sections made, I'm just going to go ahead and complete my rectangle here. And then find the area of each box. Remember, it is going to be base times height. So just going through and multiplying my base and my height. And then the last thing I need to do is just kind of pull it all together and combine like terms. So I'm going to put this in descending order, so my 24x squared is going to come first. And then I have a couple x terms in there, so I have a 20x and a negative 6x. When I put those together, I'm going to get a plus 14x. They are like terms, so I can put them together. And then I get that negative 5. So area as a sum is what we just figured out, and area as a product is what was given to us. And then this last one. So I'll do the same thing. It looks like the base is going to have two terms. So I need to have a term for the x and, excuse me, a little cutout for the x and a cutout for the y. Excuse me, for the 4. I'm not sure where I got the y from. Then the second one is going to tell me what the height is. Well, this one's going to have 3. So I'm going to have 3 little sections here. There's going to be 1. Oh, I'm going to have to make these a little bit smaller so they don't run into each other. And then I'll have an x squared, a negative 5x, and then a plus 9. And then I'll do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to go ahead and fill in and complete the rectangle here. Again, it doesn't really matter how large the chunks are, it's just that you have a chunk for each one of them. And then we go ahead and fill them in. Remember, an x squared times an x is an x cubed. That's going to give me a negative 4x squared. a negative 5x squared. Again, I'm just multiplying base times height here. And then all I need to do is just kind of pull it together. So it looks like I'm going to have an x cubed as my first term. I'm going to have a negative 4x squared and a negative 5x squared, which is a negative 9x squared. I've got a 20x and a 9x, both of which are positive. Just go ahead and combine them. And then the last one's going to be that negative 36.